Okay, we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, guys. Our second ever live stream. These are going to be happening every single Thursday from now on, from 5:30 to 6. I might extend it to be an hour, but as of right now, it's 30 minutes from 5:30 to 6. All right, guys. So, anyways, we are going to talk CBD questions, answers. You guys can, of course, ask questions here. Okay, you can, of course, ask questions here, but also, what was I going to say? We are using Twitter, Reddit, and Facebook, actually, to field questions from other people online because we don't have thousands of people here to ask questions. So, one day. All right, guys? So, let's hop over. I do have my little laptop here. Anyways, it is National CBD Day, and that is going to be the thing now on August 8th of every year will be National CBD Day, guys. That was coined by CBD MD. If you didn't hear me say it already, they are as far as I know, a good company, a great company that's been a big CBD producer, manufacturer. So check them out if you'd like. We may carry them in the future. We don't right now, but we may in the future, as I said. Okay, so user Jaon3 asked the question on the CBD info subreddit. He says, am I supposed to keep taking my fish oil while I'm taking CBD? So, as far as I've heard, that shouldn't be a problem. The thing you want to be careful with is with some pharmaceutical drugs and things like that. You definitely want to ask your doctor. I don't know if you want to ask your doctor whether, taking CBD along with your medicine is okay, because they might be thrown off by the question because a lot of doctors aren't educated on the subject. A lot of doctors aren't informed on CBD, unfortunately, at this point. There are more and more that are getting, but they're not really widespread. The information is still all over the place. So an important thing you can ask your doctor actually is if your medication has an interaction with grapefruit, because CBD has the same kind of reaction with certain pharmaceutical drugs that grapefruit has, and that is it can make it stay in your system longer. And so, if the medicine is something that is kind of damaging to your system, not, obviously it's helping with something, but a lot of these pills have side effects and they are damaging other parts, or potentially damaging other parts of your body, you might not want to have that medicine in your body for longer than it already has to be. So that is something to check with a doctor. Fish oil, though, that as far as I know, that's not a problem. That's not a problem. Fish oil is not a pharmaceutical drug or anything, obviously. And actually, yeah, CBD does have omega-3s in it. Or actually, the hemp plant has omega-3s in it, I should say. And so you're good on that front. So, all right, cool. So that's that. If you're taking fish oil and you're wondering about CBD, that's not a problem. Pharmaceutical drugs, on the other hand, like I said, you might want to check with your doctor on that one. Okay? Just screenshotting this so we could actually include it in the video later and just give credit to the people who asked and go back and answer them as well. Okay, let's look for the next one. Grateful for CBD. I'm grateful for CBD. It's helped me a lot in terms of my social anxiety. That's one of the biggest reasons I use it, and also to just kind of feel just a little more at ease. And I find that CBD helps me be the person I am when I'm most comfortable, around my friends or family. It helps me be that person more frequently and more of the time. So I really want to be the person that I am when I'm at my most comfortable state as often as I can be. And if CBD is helping me do that, then I'm definitely going to keep taking it. And that's what it does for me. So, all right, awesome. Does CBD make you sleepy? Yes and no. Here's the simple answer. That's a discussion. So does CBD make you sleepy? So there's a few different factors for sure in terms of will it make you sleepy. First of all, it's the product. All right, there's a helicopter going overhead. I'll just wait that out 1 second. So obviously, cannabis, hemp, these kind of medicines, you have to take people's experiences and their word with somewhat a grain of salt. Obviously, taking into consideration whatever the person's telling you, but everybody's body is different. And so the way that hemp, cannabis, CBD, THC, the way this stuff interacts with your body is different for everybody. And the experiences that you have are different for each and every person. You can ask, Phil if he had a great time with that tincture or whatever, and he might say, no, I didn't. And then you ask Laura, and she says, I had a fantastic time with that tincture. It's my favorite tincture. Why? Because our bodies are all different. We're all made different, as we all know. Hey, Dad, what's going on? Thanks for the support. So, yeah. So, back to CBD and sleepiness. For me, it definitely depended on the brand and the product at hand. I wouldn't say at all I felt like this sleepiness just came over me and I was just super tired and I just went straight to bed because I couldn't hold my eyes open. Like, it wasn't like that at all. I think if you take CBD at night, it can definitely, it does enhance your sleep. That's been proven. It does improve your sleep, and a lot of people get longer and fuller and better sleep because of it. But to me, and this may be because I have a higher tolerance or I take CBD more often, all right, and that may be a reason. But again, I think it comes down to the brand and the product. For instance, I took the Bluebird Botanicals tincture, and I love that tincture. Something to know about it, though, is I feel like, and I've heard this from other people, is that tincture, or that's the tinctures from that specific company, Bluebird Botanicals, they're a little more upfront. I can kind of tell a little bit more that it's hitting or that it's there, as opposed to like the CB Distillery tincture, which I actually have right here. The one I'm using daily, CB Distillery 1000 milligram. This guy is more of a thing that hits in the background, and I don't really like. Obviously, I feel the effects, but it comes in a sort of like a very soft dial almost, and it doesn't come in like rocking and jamming. Thank you, Sierra, for watching. Welcome. This tincture exactly is more for me a background. I feel it working, but I don't feel it like whoa, there it is. It comes very softly, and I don't. And it also some will just be more in the front of your mind, if that makes sense, guys. It will be more in the front of your mind. You'll be able to tell more. And then some CBD oils, and I've tried a number, will be in the background and they'll work and they'll wash away your stress, and they'll wash away your anxiety and this, that, and the other, and your pain, and it'll come in a very smooth background, kind of not even noticing it until it's gone, right? Until, like, a lot of people with CBD oil they go, I'm not feeling anything, right? And then they'll go to sleep or whatever, and they'll wake up the next morning, they're like, wow, I feel really well rested. I got a lot of sleep last night. And it's because you didn't even know that you were, having trouble sleeping. You didn't even know that, that rolling around, or that, you're not being able to get a full night's sleep, or that full rest. And if you feel, restless in the morning, you optimally from a sleep, if you get enough hours, that's one. If you get enough hours, two, and you don't get interrupted, then that sleep is going to be quality sleep, right? You're going to actually feel restored. You're going to feel refreshed. You're going to feel good in the morning. That's what we, hope for. And CBD has been proven, paper's gone, CBD has been proven to help get longer, more restful sleep. And so it helps a lot of people, and they don't even know that necessarily. And you might not even have, sleeping problems, not to say you have insomnia, but maybe you're just not getting the best sleep you could. And with CBD, that might unlock that potential. And sleep is very important in a healthy lifestyle. Okay, cool. So this user, Bevon, Bevon, says, which brands post full spectrum, but their labs only show CBD alone? So it's kind of weirdly worded, but I think what he's trying to say, he or she is trying to say, is when brands say that their product is full spectrum, right? Full spectrum meaning that it contains all of the cannabinoids that are naturally found within the hemp and cannabis plants, right? So not only THC, not only CBD, but there are a number. There's CBN, there's CBG, there's CBC, there's like 400, and they're discovering more by the day. So that's what a full spectrum product is. Full spectrum meaning I have everything that is in this plant, and generally plants know what they're doing because they've naturally, they've naturally grown their plants, and so all those chemicals in there have various health benefits and reasons that you should be taking it. That's why for everyone, for most people, people who aren't worried about drug tests, we recommend the full spectrum products. 100% of the time, you should have a little bit of THC in there, because when the THC and the CBD are together, boom, the entourage effect is there, and both of them are heightened, and the health effects of each cannabinoid is heightened, and there are various health effects to both THC and CBD. So that's that. You should definitely have a full spectrum product, unless you are worried about drug tests. All right. Now, some brands, we've talked about this before. We just released a video about, actually, we didn't release it yet. Sorry, we didn't release it yet. Coming soon. This video is about good versus bad CBD. And so, something about good CBD generally is a vendor that will provide lab tests readily available right on their website, very easily accessible to anyone who goes to their website. A bad vendor will not, right? They won't even show their the lab tests. Now, these are supposed to be third-party lab tests from a lab that is not associated whatsoever with the company. And they're supposed to show different levels pertaining to the cannabinoid levels, so it'll say how much CBD and how much THC is in that product. It should also show pesticide levels, microbial levels, heavy metal levels, and all these harmful chemicals that could be within CBD. Reason is, hemp is a plant. Let's go back to the original thing. Hemp is a plant, and plants, need nutrients and the right proper care to grow in a good way. And a lot of people, just like kind of the food industry, right? A lot of people are sacrificing the quality or what they're putting into these products for a little more profit margin, and people are looking for that. And that's the unfortunate truth of the CBD industry as well as the food industry, whatever. Let's not get into that rabbit hole, but that's that. So good thing is, hey, my vendor has a lab report. Great, that's a first good thing. That's a good sign. But you want to actually take a look at that lab report. Don't just be comfortable that it's there. Take a look at the lab report. Reason you're gonna take a look at the lab report is because some vendors are sly. So they give you the lab report, right? But what they will do is exclude important details such as the pesticide levels, the heavy metal levels, all these levels. So they'll show you how much CBD is in it. They'll show you how much THC, and just so you feel good, right? And you feel like, hey, they got the lab reports, and that's great. But they won't include those levels. Why wouldn't you include the levels of the most harmful thing that could be in your CBD oil? Why wouldn't you let consumers know that that's not there? If you're a reputable brand who wants to build a brand and build a happiness-driven brand and actually make customers happy with what they get in the end, because eventually, guess what happens? Everybody who is behind a sham like that eventually gets busted, by someone or another. And so look out for these vendors. It's a scary kind of place. It is kind of scary because the oil could look just like this. It could look golden and beautiful and perfect, right? But it could contain pesticides, metals, microbials, nasty stuff. So any good vendor is gonna detail everything they can for you, as much as they can. Lab testing is expensive, which is a prohibitive thing for a lot of brands, but it's necessary. Sorry, it's necessary, guys. We need to let consumers know that they're getting a healthy product to take. If CBD is all about getting healthier, we don't want you, getting more ill or putting things in your body that aren't going to help you. That's not the point. And if you see people doing that, you should maybe not, you don't have to rant on them, but, definitely let people know to not buy from them. What is CBD bioavailability? This is by user ReMedLeaf CBD. Bioavailability pertains to not only CBD but also other pharmaceutical drugs or chemicals. And bioavailability has to do with how much of that chemical or product, I guess chemical is a better way to phrase it, how much of that chemical is actually entering your system, right? So let's take this. A CBD tincture has a bioavailability of anywhere between, I believe it's 60 and 70%. 60 and 70%. Yeah, I believe that's exactly correct. Um, Between 60 and 70%. So that means that 60 to 70% of this product is actually making it into your bloodstream. It's actually, causing systemic effects to you, right? Um, let's take, for example, an edible. Gummy, CBD gummy. I don't have any here, but let's take an edible. Or it doesn't have to even be a gummy, or it could be any type of edible CBD. The bioavailability for those are way down. Those are in the 30 to 40% range. And the reason this is because it is getting processed through your gut, right? So like, food gets processed through this entire digestive system in your gut. And so what happens with the CBD when you ingest it, a lot of it is taken away because your system never actually, it gets broken down before your system ever actually receives it, right? So that's the thing. So for buying CBD or trying CBD, you want to take that into consideration. Why? Because you're going to say, if I need, if I need let's say 33 milligrams from a tincture, right? And that makes me feel good and I feel great. You're saying about 60 to 70% of that is making it to your bloodstream. So 60 or 70% of 33 is like what, like 28 or something like that. Let's say it's 28 milligrams, or maybe a little bit less, maybe like 26. So let's say 26 milligrams is making it into your bloodstream. Now you take an edible that is 33 milligrams per serving, and you eat that. Now you're only getting 33 milligrams, and you're saying about 30% of that, 33, that's 11%. That's 11%. 11 milligrams, I'm sorry. 11 milligrams of CBD is making it into your bloodstream. So you see how that affects it. And so you would have to take more as an edible. But keep in mind, another thing to keep in mind, when you take CBD in different ways, they affect you in different ways. So there's not only bioavailability, meaning how much of it is making it to your bloodstream, there's other things like how fast is it kicking in, and also how long is it staying in your system. Two other things to take note of. For example, vaporizers, CBD vapes. Very fast acting. You're getting the effects within 60 seconds. You're feeling the initial effects. Pretty powerful stuff, especially for people with anxiety and stuff like that. So you're feeling the effects very quick, right? And that sounds great, right? And the bioavailability of a vape is like 80 to 90%. It's going right to your lungs, right in the bloodstream. You're getting a lot of that CBD. That's why CBD vapes are this big, and they still affect you very much so. You don't need a huge hit to feel something. Something to know though, those same vapes will wear off quite a lot faster than oil tincture or an edible. Edible, I believe, is the longest because it's being ingested. It stays around for the longest in the system. Then I believe the tinctures are next, I believe. And then last is the vape or smoke. That will, last you for maybe an hour or two, maybe. Okay? It depends on the person, again, all on your body. And for some people it can last 4 hours, like a tincture. Or for me, I take my tincture once in the morning and I'm good for the day, right? And a lot of people say it remains around, the effects remain around from 4 to 6 hours, but again, for me, once a day, I'm okay. Unless I'm going out at night, and doing something special where I know it's a little more. Coming back. Okay, cool. We are back. Camera's rolling. We're good. Sorry guys, I only have me today. One-man band. So, thank you. Alrighty, let's see. Can CBD help with pain? I think we covered that in the last one. CBD has been shown to have analgesic, aka pain-killing properties. So short answer, yes, it could definitely help out with pain. It helps tons of people with pain. The creams are really good for muscle or joint pains. The capsules or the tincture is really good for just general pain and neuropathic pain. And also a lot of people who have the kind of arthritis or whatever, where it's kind of focused in an area, still could benefit from taking a tincture, because that will affect your whole system, right? Your whole entire endocannabinoid and your whole, system that runs you, everything. So it affects a lot. The endocannabinoid system has a lot to do with homeostasis and regulating the body and just balance. So it's funny how, a lot of people talk about, CBD and balance. It actually does provide balance, because the endocannabinoid system has to do with homeostasis and maintaining balance and stabilization within the body. So, and that's a reason why CBD is so powerful and can really have a wide array of therapeutic potential, because the endocannabinoid system has a lot to do with a lot of your bodily functions. Okay, so cool. This user, Iwis, I'm gonna say, he said, he or she, I know it's been asked frequently, but how different is CBD flower compared to typical high dosage THC flower now? Okay, so I have to say, I have yet to try hemp flower. But I can name you some of the differences, and I will try hemp flower very soon. I definitely have to try hemp flower. If you don't know, guys, obviously you know this. Hemp is a plant. Second of all, what I want to say, you can actually, just like marijuana, grind up, or break up hemp, roll it into a joint, whatever, and you could smoke that hemp. And that's going to be just like, almost like smoking weed, but you're not going to get the high, right? That's the whole appeal of CBD. You're not going to get high. You're not going to get stoned, right? That is the main difference between the two, right? That's easily the biggest difference between the two. When you're smoking THC flower, regular marijuana, you are going to get stoned. You're going to get the munchies. You're going to get all these things that, you heard about. And maybe not all of them. Let me not say that, because some of you might be misinformed. Cannabis is fantastic as a whole. It's been used for millennia. Cannabis and hemp. Well, hemp is a cannabis plant, so I should say marijuana and hemp. Jeez. They've been used for millennia. So guys, this isn't a new thing. This plant is just being rediscovered and reassessed, because the laws have prevented us from researching and trying them out. And unfortunately, Big Pharma doesn't want CBD and cannabis and hemp to become a thing. And they fought that for years. And do you know how many billions and millions of dollars is behind Big Pharma? You'd be probably grossed out. And it's obviously everything comes down to money in this world, and unfortunately that's the way it is. And so Big Pharma has won for many, many years, and unfortunately pharmaceutical drugs are so widely available, it's had a detrimental effect on our society. Back to the point that we are getting to research CBD more, and that's the beauty of it, and that we're living in this time where we're at least getting a chance to consume this wonderful natural plant, a product. I, for one, am not one to try and take pills. As much as I can stay away from pills or man-made drugs, I try to. That's me, and that may be you guys as well. Especially people interested in CBD and natural kind of alternatives. It's a no-brainer. Natural is going to be better for you. It's 6 o'clock, but guys, I'm going to keep going. I think I'm going to make this an hour if I have enough battery. It's 24%, but we'll make it. I'm going to go till 6:30 because I'm having fun. And this is good content. The camera might cut out at the end, but is what it is. Okay, CBD 101. Awesome. Have you heard the latest Jay-Z cannabis news? I have not heard the latest Jay-Z cannabis. Actually, I heard that Jay-Z is actually investing in a cannabis company, which is pretty cool. I think you're going to see a lot of stars and a lot of big names, excuse me, a lot of big names in the world investing and getting involved in cannabis and hemp, CBD, and the likes. You're going to see a lot of that, guys, because this market is expected to go way up, right? And so these big players, these rich people, these investors, these institutions are going to turn their heads, and it's getting more popular as the legalities get lifted, right? Because these big companies they move slower because their lawyers and attorneys and their whole team and their board of directors, if they're a public company, are telling them, hey, we're not gonna touch this CBD stuff. No, not yet. Until laws get, readjusted and things get a little more lenient, then they can risk that, And that's good for the small guys like myself, Noid Botanicals, and all these other smaller retailers that are trying to push this message. And I'm not including the bad ones. The bad ones go over there. The good ones, I'm including you. It's good for us, it's, I think, in a way, actually, the banning or the prohibition on hemp kind of provided a gateway for people in this current time period to be able to build a brand and a company through this product, and it's not being all sucked up by big pharmaceutical companies. Like, if this was legalized and you were able to do this, 20 years ago, we'd be done. I mean, in 20 years, you're going to see huge companies jump in, and they're going to suck up all the little guys. And even though there will be smaller retailers, there will be, under a certain company, or there will be fewer smaller shops. I will say that. There will be fewer. I think there will always be a place for the mom and pop shop. I think there will always be a place for the CBD only shop and things like that. Do I think that bigger companies are going to come and swoop up a lot of those smaller guys and acquire them? Heck yeah. Heck yeah, they're going to do that, because that's what money does. That's what business does. That's what American business does. It all comes down to just a few groups of people that own the world, really. So let's keep going, though. It does create a pathway for smaller guys like Noid Botanicals and other small companies to make a name for themselves and become, something. And that is a great thing overall. That's a really great thing. That the big companies aren't in yet, and that creates the gateway for us to be able to successfully create a company that works for us without being, priced out, or without being convenienced out. Amazon, one day shipping now. People have to now battle with one day shipping. Companies do. It's all about convenience in these days, and we're trying to combat that. We're coming up with some creative ideas, CB delivery and stuff like that, but coming to a town near you. Okay, cool. CBD and aspirin. So, as I said before, it may make it stay in your body longer, which obviously aspirin has some side effects, and these painkillers have side effects, but if you're not taking it on a regular basis, you're fine. Go ahead and take the aspirin, take the ibuprofen, whatever you need for the pain in the moment. Obviously, that could be a very strong way to take away a strong pain. CBD can too, but unfortunately right now I think the price is pretty high for getting into those high milligram levels, even though you have to take less. But I think for a lot of people, going to the pharmacy is the thing you just do. $10, you buy a Motrin bottle. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. I think CBD is going to eventually phase out a lot of that and wash that down, which is great. But at the moment, go ahead, take your Motrin or Tylenol. Obviously, I would try to stay away from it. That's what I try to do. But sometimes, you can't. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes it's just too painful. Facebook will now allow some CBD ads. They're not allowing my CBD ads, but I'm working on it, guys. I'm working on getting Facebook CBD ads going. I'll get it. I know I will. It is kind of annoying, though, how some brands are already, advertising on Facebook, and, I get denied, or I'm sure plenty of other people get denied. It's just like, what is it? What's the difference between the two? I've been looking at Facebook ads that I've personally got served. I've been served these ads, and I look at them to see, what are they doing to allow this, to get this passed by, Facebook. And I try to do what they're doing, and it's just not working. But I'll get it, like I said. This week in cannabis, Colorado hits 1 billion in sales. Wow, I don't know. That can't be just the week. Let me see here. Oh no, they're saying this week in cannabis, an update. Colorado announced that that since the state legalized adult use cannabis sales in 2014, $1 billion worth of marijuana were sold. That is insane. $1 billion. The money is there, guys. And this is helping out schools. This is helping out communities. The tax dollars they're taxing this plant pretty high. So the tax dollars are there, guys. And yeah, that's that. So the tax dollars are there, and the money is there, guys. So I would suggest, if you're at all interested, I think you have to have a sort of passion for either, helping people, definitely, and kind of the whole plant and the whole movement as itself. But it's a good business to get into, and even if it's a kind of ancillary thing where you're, some kind of accessory or some kind of sidecar to CBD or to marijuana, if you're a sidecar business that, makes accessories or make this or that, I think you're gonna really benefit from this whole movement and legalization push. And food businesses are gonna go. Whew. Food businesses are next to dispensaries and all around, I believe, really, are gonna get more business. People get the munchies, and it's funny because multiple studies have said stoners have a thinner waistline on average than non-smokers, right? And that's funny because you think about all those comedies and things they used to say about stoners, and still do. A lot of people, potheads, and sitting on the couch eating chips, fat. Yeah, really? Well, we've got multiple studies that say that cannabis users have slimmer waists than non-cannabis users. Hey, take with that what you will. The munchies are a thing, but that's what the studies are saying. So I am all for it. I am all for it, guys. Let's see. What does CBD oil do, and why is it in my coffee? Well, I mean, CBD and caffeine can be cool because CBD kind of takes the edge off the caffeine, as well as when THC can take the edge off of the paranoia and anxiety that happens from THC, and sometimes even with coffee. Like I know myself, like, coffee isn't good for anxiety, and I definitely feel the effects from that in terms of negative effects towards my anxiety with coffee at times. And then I'm like, why did I drink that? But if I take this before, like an hour before or in the morning, now I'm really trying to stick right when I wake up, pretty much with breakfast, I'm taking my CBD, then I'm good. I'm good. Like, and I found 33 milligrams per serving. This 1,000 milligram is perfect for me. Like, this is my sweet spot. You have to find your sweet spot. This is my sweet spot. You should always start low, guys, and build your way up. So that's how CBD should be tested out with. That's how you should experiment with it. You start lower and you keep moving up until you hit your sweet spot and you get those desired effects. My desired effects is having no anxiety. I would love if I had no anxiety, and this makes that happen. I swear, this makes that happen. It's crazy because you don't believe it, because it's not like, oh wow, I just kicked in. Like, it just happens, and you're just like, whoa, I just went through that day and it was fantastic, and I feel on top of the world, and I feel like I can do anything. And so it's awesome. It's really awesome. And I'm sure people are skeptical because they hear this crazy boom of CBD, and they're like, it's just this trend, this, that, the other. No, this ain't a trend. This one's sticking around for, I think, forever. I think this is going to be a big part of medicine, guys. CBD, THC has shown anti-tumoral potential and also anti-cancer potential. We are saying potential. The FDA does not want us saying any claims. I'm not saying it's actually, but there was in 1988, there was a study, I believe 88 is the year. 88, there was a study released by a university in Spain. I forgot what the professor's name was. Christina something. I forgot her last name. They were doing an experiment where they introduced THC alongside astrocytoma cells, which is brain cancer cells. And what happened was the THC actually was killing the cancer cells in the best way possible, and that is by suicide. So the cancer cells were actually killing themselves And the normal cells were not affected at all, which is the very important part, that although radiation obviously kills the cancer cells, it also kills healthy cells. And that's the problem with chemotherapy, that it kills your healthy cells. THC does not kill your healthy cells. It is shown to actually produce or start up neurogenesis. And neurogenesis is the production of new brain cells. So that I've blown your mind, because the stigma around cannabis, the stigma around weed, the stigma around all this is all a lot negative. And it's unfortunate, because it's such a welcoming, wonderful community. Once you join it and once you try these products, you'll realize why people are raving about them. You'll realize why it's something that people love and are touting about and just shouting from the rooftops. You will, I promise. Cool, awesome. Alrighty. Ben & Jerry's announces plans to make CBD infused ice cream. Paxi Craw, wow. I've heard of this. Ben & Jerry's announces plans to make CBD infused ice cream. Cool. I say cool. Again, keep in mind the bioavailability. I think CBD is going to be available in virtually everything. Crazy to say, but I think CBD is going to be available in virtually everything. It hasn't even hit full mainstream adoption, right? And the demand is growing incredibly. People are telling their friends and their family about this because they love it and it works. And that's why people are so eager to share their stories and their insights on CBD and all this, because it works. And the community around it, I'll tell you, is awesome. You know, you're meeting like-minded people. You're meeting people who are chill. You're meeting people who are not trying to, generally be negative or see the world in a negative light or add negativity to other people's lives, because they're seeking this thing that will make their lives better and make them a better person. Generally, that means that they're a person who seeks, better being, better health, better wellness, and they strive to be even better than they are today, which is important. Don't look at who you are today, or don't compare yourself to who you were yesterday. Compare yourself to who you are tomorrow. Something like that. That's that, guys. So a little quote there. I don't know if I got it right, but I am gonna keep going. Cool, guys. Cool. It's an opportunity to comment on federal cannabis policy. That was 2 months ago that the FDA did hear public comments on CBD and how to regulate it, because they just wanted to know people's opinion and stuff like that. And I know the U.S. Hemp